Hi guys. I get a lot of calls basically that ask, what is the difference, Robert, between the Pro and the Pro W? And honestly guys, there's not a lot of difference. As far as the insides of these tools, the energy levels, the heat settings, they are identical. The only difference really is the base. Notice the ridges on the Pro. Notice the flat, smooth base on the Pro W. When the tool was first developed, of course, it was developed for carpet. The ridges were put on there so that when you're sitting on the carpet, it helps it track nice and straight down that seam. The biggest issue we have when I look at seam complaints is basically they're not keeping that tool nice and straight and nice and centered over the tape. So obviously any aid we can give you to help keep that tool nice and straight on line with the seam is important. What happened when they started doing all the hard surfaces, guys would get onto a big, thick 3/4 inch plus board. They'd want to anchor it to the floor as a starter row. And what would happen is with that, 1/4 inch of ridge and 3/4 inch board, it would raise the tool so high off the tape that basically the tool would not find it. And of course, as you know, the tool actually must first seek the tape before it'll even activate. So what they did basically is they went ahead and created a base that took those ridges off. That gave the tool basically about another 1/4 inch of reach. One thing I will strongly recommend though is not using so much the Pro W on your carpet. Because again, it's such a smooth base, it will tend to slide all over the place on your seam. Not that you could not use it on a carpet seam, but there again, you'll have to really pay close attention that you're keeping the tool nice and straight and centered over your tape and over your seam. I can also show you a way of actually manipulating the regular Pro tool to actually use it over the thicker 3/4 inch boards. Because let's face it, a lot of guys are specialty guys, meaning they do only wood or they do only carpet. The majority of installers I'm finding are doing it all now. So if you want to buy basically, can only afford one tool, I say get the Pro tool. And let me show you how to use it over that 3/4 inch board. What I've done, I've just taken a piece of laminate, that's all I had in my shop, and I put a piece of tape underneath here. So there's KoolGlide tape underneath this. And if this was the board I wanted to anchor, it's barely, not even 3/8 of an inch thick. So I could very easily set it over here, and as you'll notice, my light stays on, it activates, and it would melt it. Let me lift it off to deactivate it there. But let's kind of manipulate it a little bit. Let's create a situation that takes the tool almost an inch above the tape. And what I've done here is I've taken 1/2 inch glue sticks, and of course this is a carpet tool, so it's got your 1/4 inch ridges. You got your almost 3/8 inch thick board. So now my tool is literally about an inch away from the tape. Notice I can stick my fingers underneath there. It's quite a bit off the tape. So what happens is I try to activate it. Notice now my light's just blinking at me. I don't know if you can really see it in that camera, but that light basically is just blinking. In other words, it can't find the tape. It's too far away. Watch this. Take and turn on your T button, transverse mode. And remember, once you put the tool into transverse mode, those other buttons, L and M or H, it overrides them. There's no such thing as a TL or a T low or a T medium or a T high. Once you hit transverse, it just overrides and it's just a transverse mode. Of course, what you remember is a very low energy rating. But watch this. Now when I activate the tool, notice the green light stays on. In other words, it's sending energy now down to that tape. Let me go ahead and reactivate it. So basically what we've done in the T mode, it will give you a farther reach. But keep in mind that T setting, very little energy. What do I do to make sure that I'm getting plenty of energy into my tape underneath that board to make sure I'm getting a good meld for a strong bond? Simple. You zap it twice. Keep in mind, those time settings are just time intervals. So if I need to get enough heat, I might go zap, let my light go off, zap, then advance the tool. Sometimes I'll hit it 3 times. Again, I want to make sure I get a good melt on that adhesive to get an absolute strong bond. So I might hit it 3 times. Each time the light goes out, zap it again. Then advance it. 1, 2, maybe 3, advance it again. There again, that way you can take your standard Carpet Pro KoolGlide and actually use it in any situation you would be able to use a Pro W. You just have to manipulate it a little bit, all right? Anyway, if you have any other questions, certainly give us a call. Thanks for watching.